Hi, everybody. Welcome back to how you can create cash flow in 60 minutes a day. So I just want to welcome you back and congratulate you for sticking with us. So here we go, diving into day number 2, video number 2, which is on profit clarity, how to set a solid business model and foundation. And if you recall in the last video, I did give you a intro. So hopefully you have your pencil and paper handy or whatever method of note taking you're going to use as the ahas pop, as ideas come to you, and to take notes. So let's dive into video number 2. And what I'm going to share in this video is we're going to cover time commitment of your offer as it relates to a service or a product. Because remember, here we want to talk about having profit clarity. And one of the things you need in place is a solid business model. So the things we're going to talk about here is going to relate to setting a good foundation for your business, but allowing the cash to flow because you'll have profit clarity, meaning you know the who, what, when, why, and how of how that money is going to flow to you. All right. So looking at your time commitment, and because we're talking about going from a day job to full-time entrepreneurship, and probably right now you're still in a job, so I understand you don't have a lot of time, so we want to keep this simple and we want to automate where we can and just be able to maximize your time. All right, so you have to look at your time commitment here. What are you going to offer? Okay, you probably know your gift, right? That thing that you do, you're clear on that. So that's awesome. But how are you going to get that to your potential clients and customers? Okay, so are you going to offer a service? And when I say a service, understand that's something that is going to take you physically doing it, being engaged with that client. So that means it's going to take more time versus if you choose a product that you're going to sell, right? Once you create the product, it's automated, right, at that point. And so there's nothing you have to do but sell it. So if you think about this 4-part video series that I'm giving you guys here, this is automated. Once I record the videos, I do the PowerPoint slides and put everything together, people can always opt in to watch the videos. Well, that's how the product works. Once you create the product, right, and you automate everything, because you can automate everything there. So that's awesome, right? Once you create it, no more time invested there. And people can buy it while you're at work. How about that? Or while you're at your kid's soccer game, things like that. So think of how you want to get your product or service or that thing that you do to your customers, okay? So how do you want to do that? Do you want to provide a service? And it's okay, whichever one you choose, just understand the time commitment involved. So think about that, jot that down, service or product. Service is more time, product is less time. So decide which one you want to do. Okay, so that's one of your assignments. And then, let's talk about pricing, because pricing is a huge, huge problem that a lot of people have, and I'm guilty too. Initially, I didn't know what to charge. Pricing was a big obstacle for me as well, so I get it, I understand. And I'm trying to, again, cut the red tape for you guys and get you to maximizing in all areas that you can so that you can create the cash flow. But if you don't know your pricing, cash is not flowing, right? So how much are you going to charge for your product or service? Right? And one of the things I like to say here is that, do your research, see what the industry is charging, see what people are paying for what you do, okay? What you're going to offer. What are similar products, similar services? How much are they charging? Think of that, look at that, do the research, and use that as a basis, not to say you have to price match anyone, right? Like how Walmart does, but you want to at least be in the ballpark. I like to say, you don't want to be totally low end, right? As you select your price, you can be mid-range or you can be high end. Think of it like this. So I mentioned Walmart. And Walmart price matches, everybody think Walmart is the low end, it's the cheap place, go there to get your sales, right? So everybody shops at Walmart when they want a sale. And Walmart caters to everyone because they have the grocery section, they have furnishing. They sell furniture. They have the tire, they do car stuff. They have the toy department. They have clothes. They have the pharmacy area. So Walmart pretty much has everything that you need. Really, you could just shop at Walmart, right? And then think of Saks. What does Saks have? Saks, right? Primarily, they have clothes that they offer you, but everything in Saks is high end. And when you go into Saks, the treatment that you get, the customer service, the attention to the customer and the customer needs are at a different level than at Walmart. So as you're setting your price, think, do you want to be low end? Do you want to be mid-range, or do you want to be high end? And the other part about choosing your price, this is really, really important, is that you have to be comfortable saying how much you're going to charge. So if you say, oh, everyone in my industry, for their services, they're charging $2,000, and you choke when it's time to tell someone how much you charge, then you can't charge that, because you're never going to say it. And if you say it, they're going to look at you like you're crazy because of how you're saying it. And in essence, they're not going to buy. So if you're not there yet at the high end, you can start mid-range or something, that's fine. And then just like every 3 months or so, increase your prices. That's all, until you get to the level that you want to be at. And you're comfortable doing that. Sometimes it takes getting a few clients under your belt at a lower price before you raise the price and you're comfortable at saying a higher price. So just keep that in mind. So what is your pricing going to be for your products or services? Think about that. Write that down, because that's something you're going to have to answer. So that's another assignment. Now, we talked about offer, what you offer, how much you're going to charge. Now, who's your ideal client? Here's where you have to be crystal clear. And I say that because this was an obstacle for me as well. I had a hard time choosing who that ideal client would be. Initially, I always said women entrepreneurs, right? But there's a lot of women entrepreneurs. And if I told you that, would you really know who to refer to me? I will probably have to give you some more details on what do you do, Felicia? Well, how can you help them, right? And if you remember in the previous video, I shared with you who I help, right? I said, I'm simply Felicia. And then I told you who I help. I help women entrepreneurs, professionals, and military spouses that are still in a day job and want to transition into full-time entrepreneurship, right? How do I do that? I help them save time. I help them make more money, have more fun. I help them reach their Freedom Day goals so that they can hit the send button on that email, Dear Boss, I quit. If they choose to do that. Remember, I'm getting them to the point of where they can make a choice versus not having a choice. Okay, so that's what I do. So you need to be crystal clear as well on who you serve, because when I said that, I'm sure you can think of 3 to 5 people, right, that's still in the day job, and maybe they want to go into full-time entrepreneurship. And so you would know immediately who to refer to me, right? And just a shameless plug here, if you know of anyone, invite them to come check out this video too. It's free. It's a free training. Please invite them, right? I've told you who the ideal client is. So you need to be crystal clear as well on who do you serve, okay? Crystal clear. That's another assignment for you. And when I talk about the ideal client, I just want to drive it home a little bit further. Think of, what's their pain point, how you help them, where do they live, what's their age range, and, try to keep that to a 10-year age range. If it's men or women, maybe it's both. Maybe they have higher education. Maybe they have children. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Figure out, drill deep on this one, because it's going to make it crystal clear as to who you serve. You'll be able to talk about it with ease, and people will be able to refer people to you as well. All right. So once you get clear on those 3 things, let's talk about how are you going to package this. Now, I like to talk about a sales fountain. And one of my coaches introduced this to me, okay, because I always thought sales funnel. And with a sales funnel, it's kind of like you move them from one level to the next, and eventually there's no more levels to go to. Well, with the sales fountain, you know what a fountain is, right? You look outside, check out a fountain. And actually, I did a video on that. You can check it out on YouTube. But think of a sales fountain, and the water, it recycles through the fountain, right? Well, that's what you want your clients to do. You don't want them to be like a one-hit quitter, right? They get one thing and they're gone. You want to keep them in your community, right? In your sales fountain as long as possible, because it's always easier to get repeat customers versus going to get new customers. All right. So with that being said, what are you going to offer? And I'm not saying go out and create all three today. Pick one thing, and if you already have one and it's solid and it's making the money you want, then add something else, okay? So it could be multiple products. It could be products and services, okay? An example could be this free video training, right? This is the bottom bowl of my fountain. Everyone comes in here. It's free. I'm giving you high content, high value. I hope you agree. And then after that, there's the next thing, which is a product. Here's a low-end product that I'm offering, you know, from $27 to $297 is a good price range for that mid-range product, right? That entry-level product that you're going to offer next, whether it's a service or a product. After that, then you may have something that's $500 or more. And if you're a coach or something like that, then it could be a product and a service together, or it could just be a service where you work with someone one-on-one, okay? But that just gives you a range of what the sales fountain could look like for you. All right, so you need to figure out what are you going to offer. And, you know, 3 things is great to really start out with. Not that you have to create all 3 at once, but at least it gives you an idea where you're going. And then when you get the first client, you know it's time to create the next and be able to move them into that, right? So at least you know where they're going next, okay? And so think of your pricing strategy here as, and this is really, really key, you don't want to undervalue. So stop undervaluing and stop undercharging. Make sure your pricing is in alignment with who you are, the value that you bring to your customers, and the results that they'll get from it. So think about that, okay? So don't just think that you just pick a price, okay? Let me back up once. And so here, well, let me go here first and just tell you. So in the next video number 3, we're going to talk about marketing. We're going to talk about your marketing strategy. We're going to talk about easy strategies to simplify and automate your marketing and sales efforts. So that's what we're going to cover in the next video. So as you know, I told you what happens? Homework. So here's your assignment on profit clarity. You know, gain clarity, get clarity around who you serve and the method for getting them the information. Remember, will it be a product or a service? You need to decide that now. Okay, so before you come to the next video, create your sales fountain. What are you going to offer? Right? Pricing, delivery method. All right, so that's it. That's all I have. So I'll see you back here tomorrow for video number 3 on marketing strategies, right? So until tomorrow, be fulfilled, right? Be fulfilled, live fabulous, and rock your life. Talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day and have some fun. Bye-bye.